we were able to get it coordinated.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, so I think we're live. Welcome to another edition of Quarantide. So, all right, everybody in the house. So thanks for joining us. Whoever's there, send us some love, send us some messages, questions, and we got some of my really good friends on the line today, and we're just gonna be chatting and see how everybody's doing and what they would have been doing and how we all know each other, because I think we've either all worked together in separate ways or we know each other from different worlds. So that's kind of a cool thing. And so anyway, let's start with how about Rahzel?
Hey,
how about you?
hey, it's going. I don't know where it's going, but
Where you? Yeah, I know. We were supposed to go to Washington and do a fun thing there in April, and that didn't go. That was one of the first things that got canceled. Where else were you supposed to go?
I seen the great Houdini just disappear right before my eyes. I mean, I was supposed to do Adobe conference at the Lincoln Center. Supposed to do the New York Public Library Children's Festival. Supposed to do the it's another Fool's Gold Festival. So it's a long list. Poof.
Yeah, and
right before your eyes.
Anything coming back up? Are you getting rebooked or?
I mean, right now it's like it's hard to really say. It's hard to say because, I mean, they're just starting opening back up. So I don't know what that means for, corporate functions and corporate events or festivals. I don't know what that means. So I mean, for Essential, it's opening back up for something on a bigger scale with more people involved. I don't think they're ready for that at this moment, or they're not having talks about it as of yet.
It's also hard to beatbox with a mask on, I guess.
Yeah, that's a little hard to do. I mean, you could kind of stick the mic inside the mask.
Or they're gonna make one with a trap door, so you can
Right, get the trap door. Get the trap door mask.
So, all right. So you want to introduce us? There's somebody here that's got your same name and kind of looks like you.
Yeah, we got Rahzel Jr. in the building. You know, definitely lyrical dynamo on the rise. It's got a song out right now called "Stimulus Package" on all streams. Go out and get that. If you ain't get your stimulus package, go out and get that right now on all streams. How many streams you up to right now, Rob? Like 40K?
For sure. 40 for sure. We're at 35,000 streams
Awesome.
in 1 month. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, stimulus package. You know, Rahzel, you know, he grew up in hip hop. So, you know, he's been around a lot of talented MCs, talented musicians. So, I mean, Raz, drop some knowledge.
That's right. Growing up around music and hip hop in general was, you know, it rubs off on you. You know, you're around so much amazing professionalism, you know, on a daily basis, and just seeing how, you know, hip hop grew from behind the scenes perspective inspired me to look into both the business and the musical side and the creative side of things from a very, transparent perspective. So I took a liking to finance, and I'm also a financial advisor, in addition to being a musician. So I teach courses called Music and Finance 101. I have a platform on social media where, you know, I do Zoom calls after the pandemic for the kids.
I'm signing up right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely sign up.
I would love that. And it's been a journey. It's been a fun ride, and I'm just releasing new music. So in which the type of approach that I take is I actually integrate the financial talk into my music. So stimulus package kind of came about naturally, and where I was able to touch on what we all were feeling and what we're all going through just by talking to people every day. And being in the financial world and being in the hip hop community, I was able to take from both professionals, conversations that we were all feeling, and put some of those sentiments onto a creative platform. So it's been good.
Well, where are you doing your recording?
Right here. I'm in Rye, New York, which is Westchester.
Okay.
New York is a little bit above the city. So you're about 25 minutes north of the city. You got New Rochelle, you got Yonkers, Mount Vernon. So I'm up here, and yeah, I grew up here.
Yeah. That was one of the first hotspots, right, of the coronavirus.
Yes.
New Rochelle.
It was New Rochelle had the first center for, you know, quarantine and temperature checks. So it was very crazy, very insane. Yeah.
Wow. And
So I know Will and Kev.
Yeah.
You know, we've performed, you know, Black Violin. We've performed with one another plenty of times, you know, throughout the years, decades. You know what I mean? You know, and same as Martha Mooke. You know, performing with Martha Mooke on Carnegie Hall up in Maine. We have some recordings together. We also did the
Symphony Space.
yeah, Beats Per Revolution.
Beats Per Revolution. The revolution will be televised.
That's right. Actually, the revolution will be on Zoom.
Yeah, we'll be on Zoom. So yeah, so that I mean, beautiful relationships over the years. Hopefully, I'll get to work with Juan one day. One day I'll get to work with Juan.
Yes,
You know what
sir.
his relationship is with Black Violin. I mean, on his own, he's Mr. Sonic. He's like, you know, Grammy-winning producer, and we know each other because of the board of governors of the Recording Academy.
Yes.
And then I found out that he used to do sound with Black Violin, so it's like, woo.
Oh, like
Yes.
not
Will and Kev. Huh?
Give the intro. Let me give it one intro, man, because like you know when we way back started, when Black Violin first even thought of doing anything, just Juan Apollo. We met this dude Juan through a friend of ours named Alfredo Oliva. And we went to Juan's place, and he had the studio in his garage. But yo, when I tell you this studio was fire, he had a grand piano, an SSL board in his garage, and we recorded our first album, everything, our whole heart. We recorded in that garage with that man producing and engineering the project. So and since then, he's multiple Grammy to Latin Grammys, regular Grammys. He's on the board of all kind of stuff. So I make sure that Black Violin, we give Juan, Juanita, aka Juanito, his good introduction, yo, so that everybody could see who this brother is. But
thank you so much.
Nice, yes.
Thank you so much, man. It's awesome to see you guys, Will and Kev. You know, we spent a lot of time in the studio together, lots of time also on the road. Yeah, started with the New Victory. It was like 2-3 weeks in the New Victory Theater here in Broadway.
Yep. And while we were doing that, we went and we did the Neon Hitch thing where you, Ra, and we did the recording in Central Park while we was doing all of that. And so I think you took that off, Juan. That's why you didn't meet Ra that day. But yeah, it was we were all there at the same time. So amazing.
Yeah, everything is connected, you know. So it's awesome to see you guys, Rahzel also, you know, and Junior also. Congrats, man. I know you're doing great things too, man.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah,
he's the smartest one in the group. Finance, boy.
Nice, man. You know, hit you up, man.
The rest of us are sitting home, you know, doing this, and he's like, "Nope, I got it. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching."
Yeah.
So what are you doing, JC? What are you working on now?
Yeah, well, always working on music, you know, mixing stuff, working on tracks. Hopefully, you know, things will go back to normal a little bit so we can see some live music at some point. But you know, for me, being in the studio isolated by myself for days and days is kind of like what I've been preparing for all these years, you know. So at the end of the day, yeah, the only thing I miss from is the social aspect of collaboration, you know. But other than that, I'm used to being in the studio in the darkness for hours and hours and hours. So yeah, I continue to make stuff. I'm gonna continue to teach at NYU during the fall. The summer semester got canceled, so we are gonna resume classes in fall. Hopefully, let's see.
In person or online?
Online. Most as of right now, it's gonna be online. It probably is gonna be online at least until 2021. You know, and but yeah, always working on music, doing initiatives, doing things, and yeah, awesome to be here, you know, and see everybody.
Yeah, Will, what's going on?
All is well, man. I'm just here listening to the conversation. Juan was good. Rahzel Jr.
Hey, Will.
Just chilling, man. Yeah, for me, you know, I got 3 little, you know, so they take up most of my time. So
you got a baby,
but
too,
I'm trying to stay as active. Well, she's 2 now. So.
Oh, she's 2. Wow. How does that happen?
It's crazy. She's 2 going on 16. It's crazy.
Wow.
But all is well. I'm trying to stay busy, trying to be active, proactive. Right now, I'm in my little setup right here.
We got a little bit of feedback going on, so make sure you're not watching the Facebook as well, because there's a time lag.
Yeah, I hear like a delay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. There's latency. We're all learning about latency, whether we like it or not.
Right.
Right.
Sounds good now. Sounds good now.
Yeah, awesome. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, how are we collaborating? Like, you guys see each other, right, Kev and Will, because you live 5 minutes away.
Yeah, so we still working, it's funny because we play so many shows. Like we've been playing 130 shows a year for 10 years or so in a row. So it's like we're so accustomed to being out that the break was sort of like welcome, but also just sort of weird, because everyone's just so, I mean, we've been over 100 days since we played a show. I don't think that's happened since like 2005. You know what I mean? Like to think about like how long. So it's been kind of a nice time for us to kind of reconnect and start collaborating on, and at least internally with ourselves. And we have a new album we're working on. It's a holiday project that we started in January. That's the timing is going to work out perfectly, honestly, except for we can't tour the album, but at least we have something kind of on deck that we feel really good about. And it's a holiday album, but Black Violin style, and like it don't really feel like anything. It's like it's not really hip hop, it's not really pop, it's sort of everything. But it really works in the holiday space compared to just like the hip hop space per se, because it's good to be everything in a holiday space. It's good to just be Nat King Cole on one track and then Christmas and Hollis on the next, and we could pull that off easier at holiday than we can and everything else, I think. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of cool to kind of do that. And then we just been sort of trying to adapt. I was watching the Bruce Lee documentary, and it's like it says be water. Like we have to figure out a way to be water, even though all our careers we've been just sort of on the road playing. We in North Dakota today and Wyoming tomorrow and Alaska the next day, and that's what we've been doing. But now we have sort of an unprecedented situation, and we have to find a way to adapt to survive. And
yeah, your family's like, wait, what are you still doing here?
I'm doing the same. I can't front. I'm just like, ooh, when I got a show to play, I need to know. I'm like Will, but I have three daughters, but mine are teenagers. So I have 14, 13, and about to be 11. So I got a lot
Are they
of
going crazy?
I'm glad the school part's over. Now it's just summer, and now I just find I'm trying to figure out a way to get them to get up and be productive. I'm like, all right, every day I just look at them like, so what are you going to do today that's going to make you better for tomorrow? Because they just want to just sit around and just lay. I'm trying to, convince these teenagers like, hey, this is a moment to make yourself better, to figure out a new skill, to whatever, but don't just sit around here all day, So that's been my struggle, but it's been nice to see them because I haven't had this kind of time to like sit and raise my children like this. So this is it's been good. I've been taking it in and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Any other musicians in your family?
Any musicians? Nah, my daughter, my youngest one, she does musical theater. So she's like, she likes to sing, but only when acting's involved. Like she was like, the singing by itself is cool, but she wants to be a performer. She wants to be a character. So she's into that. My middle one's a soccer player, and my oldest one, I mean, she know how to get around Snapchat. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. But my thing is I don't really push my kids into what I do. I'm just trying to let them be exposed to as many things as possible so that they can find the thing that they love to do and do that. Like, my mama never forced me to like practice violin. It was just like, it was this cute girl in middle school. So I was like, all right, I'll rock with this class. And then I started getting nice. And then I started seeing like, oh, well, if I play violin, or even if I say I play violin, people treat me differently. And I just love that. And I just started getting nice at it. And I'm like, college scholarship, let's do it. You know what I mean? That's that's how I landed on this. So my thing is always talking to my kids about like figuring out what it is that you're really good at, what you love to do, what is not work. And violin, they've all been exposed to it, but none of them really mess with it. They call it ballerina music,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna let y'all live, let y'all rock and do what y'all need to do. So but yeah, they're into it and they definitely respect it, but they're into their own talents and their own they're finding their own way, and I like that too.
Yeah. So I told you this funny story that happened in March. I think it was the last big conference in the world, at the Asked American String Teachers Conference. and I did a workshop called Violas on the Verge. And just by chance, I opened up with one of your videos. It was the one with the American flag. It's probably an early one.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you know, it went on from there because the whole thing is about viola players that are doing, you know, cross boundary kind of stuff. So at the end of the session, this woman comes running up to me with a big smile on her face, and she said, "I was their music teacher when they started out, before they started out."
Miss Phallic, love her.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That's cool, man. That's crazy. Yeah, Miss Phallic put the violin in my hand. Almost it's coming on 30 years I've been playing, and she was the first one put it in my hand.
Really?
And taught me Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and that was how it all started. So love me some Miss Phallic, you know. And I saw that picture, and I reached out to her, said hello. She's doing pretty well. So.
Yeah, she was pretty proud.
Yeah, we were supposed to see her this December, but you know, COVID. So you know, I mean, we had a holiday show planned in Gainesville, and anytime we play, anytime she's around, you know, she's the first teacher. You know, my first teacher, one of Will's first teachers, and we always just have like a standing ovation for her and just bring some flowers out.
Oh, cool.
And people just like they eat it up, they love it, and she loves it, and she deserves it. So, but what time do teachers get a chance to see the seeds that they plant grow? And like, you know, so we were able to give her that opportunity every time. So she's used to it now. She knows when she comes to the show that at some point we're gonna, you know, single her out, make her stand up, and make this crowd of people applaud to her because she's the reason why we are what we are.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That then, you know, hopefully people get turned on to, you know, to that, and they start taking lessons and whatever, you know, studying with her.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So where are we going around? Well, what's going on with you and where you guys met? Where you met in elementary school?
No, we actually met in high school.
In high school.
Kevin and I, yeah, we met in high school. You know, my freshman year, his sophomore year, and yeah, we're just, you know, two regular kids in the orchestra class, just, you know, both violas at the time. And, you know, I was first year. I was the better violist. And
yeah, he still lying.
I was trying to keep up. You know, it was hard for me to keep up. But, you know, you know, nah, it is.
That's why they invented the 5-string, right? So
exactly,
you got it all covered.
You let Will live if you want to.
We grew up in a very, very unique situation. Though. We were definitely blessed because we had great teachers, man. We had wonderful teachers that motivated us and told us that, listen, you can go to college for free with this. You know, you can do amazing things with this. And we bought into it, you know. And granted, we didn't see this whole Black Violin thing happening. You know, this is honestly something we've always done just for fun. You know, just like as soon as our music teacher turns around, we're like freestyling and vibing. You know what I'm saying? Creating. You know, that's just how we've always done it. So we didn't think that we could really make a career doing this. You know, it was always fun. But it all started with teachers, man. Teachers are so important. For us, especially not only Miss Phallic, but Mr. Miles, our high school teacher, that you know, went beyond to really get us to not only believe, but just, you know, just gave us things that if we needed an instrument, that we needed something to really give us an edge in terms of like auditioning for colleges and all that. He was always open, man. So teachers were a huge part of the reason why we're here today. And you know, we just grew up in a very unique situation. Right now, there's not even a string program in the school that we came out of. You know, so it's sad to see how, like, you know, the art form is kind of fading away. And that's kind of what we've always done too. Is we talk about that and we try to. That's one of the things that we all kind of do. I think we kind of bridge a gap between all these different genres, and hopefully kids can see classical music for what it is, and they'll be in tune to want to learn how to play it, and you know, and try to be engaged in it. Because I think, you know, we're asked this question all the time, like, you know, why is it like that? Why is classical music something that is just kind of, fading away? And my answer to that is I'm kind of going on another tyrant right now, but my answer to that question is always like, classical music has always been this unreachable thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for me, you know what I'm saying? I was born in the Caribbean. So when I came here, I've never even seen the instrument before. So when I was introduced to the instrument, it was very different, very weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've always seen the saxophones and the trumpet. So classical music has always been very this thing on top of the hill. And classical music as a genre has not always been as welcoming and opening to different kinds of people. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing, not only what we're doing, what you guys are doing, because it's bridging these necessary gaps, you know what I'm saying, in terms of people seeing these art forms transform and do different things. And
Yeah. Well, I come from the classical world as well, and they didn't teach me in school all the things that I learned. Just like you learn to a certain extent, and then you from just bringing in what was in the environment and what other musics that you were listening to, and so now I'm creating a program that's called Multi-Style Strings, and once we get up and running again and the school's open and stuff, you guys are going to be part of that for sure. So
Nice.
and Rahzel. So what's going on in your corner there, Ra?
Junior.
Oh, for me.
Which one?
Either one, either both.
Either one.
Have a conversation. What do you talk about when you get together for lunch?
So we got together for Father's Day, right? And we just talked about everything, past, current, and going forward. What we're gonna do as a family, individually and collectively. So, just like everybody else, we're trying to figure it out, individually and collectively, and how we're gonna move forward.
It's crazy for me. I'm sorry. I can't water it down. I can't put sugar on it. Listen, it's rough. Funny thing, I got a 5:15 call with Michael Winslow today.
Wow.
So, hopefully something comes out of that conversation.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm grabbing from every angle, every position, every person, because to me, like, what I do literally
is physical.
Beatboxing is breathing.
Yeah.
And I can't breathe right now. So I mean, metaphorically and realistically, like, it's seriously a serious situation. Like, to me, beatboxing is life. That's his purpose. His purpose is to give life. You know what I mean? Because the first beat is the heartbeat. So, to me, it's more than. So what are you doing? It's kind of like you're on a respirator right now, trying to wait till the doctors come up with a solution on how we gonna fix the situation. So, I'm trying to go to the best people that can fit the format or create something that we can make interesting for people to be involved in. So, I mean, that's where I'm at, but it's definitely a struggle. It's definitely a strain, and the 2007, 2008 market crash, housing crash, that was one thing. This
is different.
This is something. Now, I always imagined that something like this would happen, but I'll probably be like 80, 90 years old and ready to be up out of here. Like, grandkids, great grandkids, or what have you. And like, yeah, in my day, like, well, y'all gonna have to figure it out because I'm out of here. But not me being, still in a young age bracket.
In the prime.
And then having to figure things out. It's like it's a little, it's really hard to explain. I mean, I'm sure a lot of musicians and people that this is what they do as their talent, and this is how they take care of their families. They can understand like the difficulty, because we need people in order to do what we do. Now we have other, avenues, and we have other platforms that we can take advantage of, but our true connection is through people in real time. Like Zoom is great, but normally when you can really feel somebody's energy is in their presence.
Yeah.
It's a different, I mean, Martha, Juan, Kev, Mark, Will, Ra, y'all know, like when you're in front of people and they get to feel how you really feel in that moment, it's totally different. So
yeah, I mean, I agree with you 1,000. Like, I don't like these virtual concerts. I just say it. Like, I need to hear the audience. Like, I don't even realize how much I require or how much I feed off of that energy, especially after we've done this thousands of times. So it's sort of just like when we play the song, and even if I'm like in it, right? Like if we just doing the virtual thing, I'm in it. I'm like, all right, I'm sweating a little bit. The song ends, and then I just don't hear nothing. Just like
nothing.
They probably liked it, and they probably
they clapped. Yeah, they clapped, but you just
so that energy, that transference of energy is so important.
Yeah,
it's like it's just sort of like what it reminds me of. It reminds me of if Rob, you've been to Alaska before, right?
Yeah.
So when we went last time we went, it was when the sun it just never came up, right? So it's just like the sun would just never. It would kind of try to come up, and it never would. And then I remember just realizing how much I needed the sun, like how much I just needed to feel it on my body, even if it's just for a little bit. Because when you don't have it, it's just like now I can't sleep because I don't know what time it is and all this stuff. And you didn't even, the whole time I took the sun for granted. I was like, oh, it's just gonna come up and come down. It is what it's gonna do that. And then all of a sudden the sun don't come up, and now we playing these virtual concerts, and it's just, that energy is not there. It's not.
Right.
Hopefully you like the clap emoji, man.
I know everybody.
Fire signs.
This is the Zoom applause.
It's like, and I say that, and I also say even just the idea of touching, like just the simple like that dap we give, like even not doing that, it feels weird to me. I don't know. I think that transference of energy is important when you meet somebody or when you seal a deal or whatever, and that's the hard one to me. Like, luckily I'm so glad I'm not single. At least I got my wife and my kids, so I can still hug them. But I can't even that like not touching somebody for 100 days thing at this point. All of that is just like new normals. Almost.
I'm getting friendly with people's dogs when they go walking, but not that friendly.
But yeah, man, it's like bizarro world, man. It's like it's really hard to, to me, it's really hard to kind of adapt to it, because it's like, wow, all these years, like I've fed off of people's reactions. I fed off of, like, I can post a video, people can like it, they can love it, or not respond at all. It's still not the same, like when it's live and I can see the expression on someone's face, or after the show, someone coming up to me saying, was that really you? Right. Like, so you get that emptiness. Like, it's like, wow, okay. I know the video was hot. Like, okay. and that's it. like, and you got to kind of adapt to that, which is kind of, for me.
It's like the audience can still appreciate and receive it in a similar way. You know, I mean, obviously you're not looking at us directly in our face, but for the performer, it's just a void. You know, like I think it works. It works kind of well as a audience member. 'Cause I'm still seeing my favorite band. I'm still seeing Ra, whatever. But for the performer, it is very empty.
Yeah, but I think the for me that I'm with you guys, but next to the audience, right? When the audience gets hit with that bass, with that big sound system and the lights in their face, and
Yeah.
no man, that's and I had an opportunity to mix a couple of live streams in the last couple of months. Come on, man, no.
No vibration.
I'm
Unmatched.
like mixing to a laptop speaker, you know.
Yeah, there's a tangible energy in the room when the audience
Right.
actually becomes part of the performance. You know,
Right.
Yeah, it's
I think everybody
Absolutely.
on both sides is feeling it. I think whether you're a performer,
or an
you're
audience.
you're in the audience, everybody feels it. Like it's just Zoom and all these online performances. It can't replace.
Nah.
It can't replace that liveness. You know what I'm saying? You're on stage, your eyes closed, and you in it. You know what I'm saying? And just like it's just there's nothing like it. You know what I mean? There's nothing like it. And I think, unfortunately, this is just it is what it is. And I think I think it'll go back. You know what I mean? It'll go back to the normal. I mean,
But how long? Like for real? Like the uncertainty is the thing. Like I mean, realistically, like they already talking about canceling stuff for pretty much just the rest of this year. You know, especially in the real cities. I know, like New York,
well,
California.
New York, forget it. Broadway,
New York,
Carnegie Hall, that's all closed through January.
So that's even best. All right, so we come back January.
Best scenario. That's best scenario.
But you think really people gonna come back out like to see? I mean, we're gonna be last, is what I feel like. Like we're after basketball.
Last phase. Yeah.
But it's like
everything.
But it all depends on just who's running things. Like, you know what I'm saying, on the political side, who's running the country. Does everybody feel comfortable? Like, even without a vaccine, if everybody feels like, okay, the hospitals ain't like packed as they used to, like everything is kind of like chill, whatever. Even if I do get sick, I don't want to get sick, at least I can go to the hospital. It's not as crazy. If everything can kind of be like that, yeah, everything will go back to normal. You know what I'm saying? And maybe like 75% capacity. Maybe they're, you know what I'm saying, they spread out a little bit. But I think people are just hungry. They're dying to come out. They're dying to go see their favorite band. So I think ultimately, man, it's just about, man, who's leading this that's running this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I ain't even trying to get into it, but we already know,
Going back to what Kev said about adapting like water, like being like water. Whichever way it swings, Democrat, Republican, we as musicians and creatives alike, we have to adjust to whoever's in the office. So it's going to be a challenge, and either way it goes.
It is. I think that even just financially, like even if people feel comfortable with the health side, man, people broke. Like we keep doing this for another 6-7 months. Restaurants, plenty of things won't open back. People gonna lose their job. So it's even past the health thing. It's just economically, can you afford?
And what do you guys all do for healthcare, right? Because you're all independent.
Pay a bunch of money for healthcare.
So my situation is a little different. I actually did work for like financial institutions, so I had healthcare already through them. But when COVID happened, I was in between getting hired, contracted to another financial institution. So at the moment, I didn't have healthcare, so I had to independently go and get it.
Yeah, I'm on that Obamacare personally.
Yeah.
For me, my wife, everyone's under my wife's healthcare at her job, so I'm left out.
Yeah,
I'm on urgent care.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey man,
2 minutes away, right up the block. Something happened, I'm there. So.
Yeah, no, it's serious.
Yeah.
You talk to some people and they're not taking it seriously, but I know people that got really sick. I know people that didn't make it.
It's serious.
And that's enough for me to be careful.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's the uncertainty that kills me the most. It's like, we don't even know when. We don't know when it comes back. Like in a best case scenario, I think we're going to be a couple years out before we be back to like what we just left. You know, economically, health wise, everything. I think it'll take a few years. So, like Junior said, like how can we be like water, right? You know what I mean? Like obviously the virtual thing is one thing, but what else can we do? You know what I mean? Like, and we even talk about the social injustice part of it, which is why I really want to go on stage so that we can talk.
Yeah,
about
I was going to ask you about that. What,
you
it's a left and a right hook. We can't, and what are you guys dealing with it? You're in a whole situation there that I don't, I can't I relate to because you're my friends, but I'm not in it. I can walk down the street without a problem.
Rod, you want to just take this first?
Yeah, on one hand, I'm kind of happy that we have time to really deal with these issues, but these are things that's been going on for hundreds of years. And unfortunately, people, we have social media where we can see it in our
Whoop. You're in a loop.
Oh, sample that. Sample that.
Like, what about to put the beat on?
Didn't need his looper there for that one. Are you back?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you better pick up.
Yeah. So
okay.
There was some feedback.
Yes, there was.
Sounds good now.
Okay.
So yeah, going back to what I was saying, just unfortunately we have to see the videos, with social media being at the forefront of the revolution. But at the same time, we need it. We need more voices. We need more solutions. We need more action. And I just hope that it's not, trendy, where, 1 week or 1 month we're on it, we're on these issues, and then the next month, it's a one and done. So hopefully it's something that actually affects change going forward.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's one of those things, man. For me, it's hard to wrap your head around it at times. Because it's like damn, it's like over and over and over again, and it's just, but the level of dehumanizing is just like, wow. It's just like, it's you get enraged, bro. You get in, because it's like, man, that's me. That's my uncle. These are real people. This ain't no movie. Like, this is real, uncut, real life. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, bro, like, it's just the images now. We're all seeing these things, and it's just like, on another level, there's this trauma. I mean, I think that's something that is, I think, not talked about enough, because it's like these images, man, are going to just live forever. And these images people are messed up because of these images. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's just crazy, man. And I think ultimately, man, there's no silver bullet that's gonna just kind of like fix this thing, man. This is like, we talking about 100 years of just like not recognizing, not paying attention, ignoring, you know what I'm saying, the voices. I mean, and the thing about us as artists and as creators, man, we have a platform, we have a voice, and this is how we do it, man. This is how we can do it. This is how we can use our voices. And
how would you do it, Will? For example, if you guys were able to be on tour, and what would you say to the audience, or what would you be doing, or what are you doing on social media?
On socials, obviously we're active, and we're just kind of like speaking our mind, and we're talking about it, starting these conversations. On stage, there's moments when we can kind of just go there, you know what I'm saying? There's this part of the show when I'm just talking about, when I just start playing Tiffany, my viola, you know what I mean? And I start talking and whatever song that I choose. And that could be a moment when I just play a song. I could play something like, anything that's inspiring that kind of talks about the situation that we're in. We can't be afraid. And I think a lot of times it's like as artists where we could be hesitant to like perform certain songs or even have these conversations, you know what I mean? But I think about artists like Curtis Mayfields and the Marvin Gayes of the world, man, they've been talking about this. I mean, artists been talking about these things for years, man. And
those songs are hitting different right now.
Yeah.
You feel me? They hit differently. They're irrelevant, you know, they're relevant then, but they're so relevant now. And it's just like, you know, and you know, this, you know, just, you know, and this is how we need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Just be bold, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of, because we got to be the voice for the voiceless, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's just like, we have to show people that, you know, these are human beings, man. These are people. These are, you know, brothers and sisters. These are, you know what I mean? These are citizens, you know what I mean? Like we have to, this is what we need to do, you know what I mean? And we have to be bold and strong and fearless, man. Fearless in the way that we approach our music and our art form, because they, you know, with that can help with the level of trauma and all these things that people are internalizing, or they're you know, keeping in themselves. And we don't want people to come out after COVID and just blow up, you know what I mean? Because that's possible, you know what I mean? Like people have been shutting down for so long, and all these anger and just like, we come out and we like Hulk, you know what I mean? So, you know, and that's the thing about us, we're creators, man. We, you know, hopefully our music, and that's what we've always tried to do as a group, man. We've always tried to create music that's real and honest, that kind of brings people together, but that just, you know, gets people to think about themselves and the world that we live in, you know, and hopefully we can continue to do it. And it's tough right now, you know what I'm saying? We feel like Rahzel said, like we can't breathe, because it's like our form, you know, we can't go out and physically interact with people, but it'll get there, man. And in terms of the unrest that's happening, I'm optimistic, man. I don't think we've ever seen this level of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think, I've never seen it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think our forefathers ever seen this level of like, yo.
Since the civil rights movement.
You feel me? Like, there's just this level of, you know what I mean? And I'm optimistic, and it's still going on right now. This is like, we're going on like a month right now, and it's still going on. People are protesting, people are talking about it, you know what I mean? And it's great. And like you said, you know, I just hope it just doesn't just fade away. You know what I'm saying? This is, for some people, this may be a lifestyle, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay for this being like my lifestyle, that I'm like, I'm talking about this, and I'm just, you know what I mean? Because this, you know, I feel like this is what God sent me to do, man, to help people be better, you know what I'm saying? Help them, you know, get the best out of themselves. So, you know, I'm never.
And you've been living it. I mean, you guys, Black Violin, that's a statement in itself, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, and plus, like, just in general, like, you know, I agree with Junior in the sense it's like, I'm kind of, it's really good timing for it. You know what I mean? Everyone, the world has stopped. Everyone is just sitting at their house and watching these images from, you know, Atlanta, from Minneapolis, you know, learning about Breonna Taylor, learning about a lot of the different things that have been going on, things that we've been, you know, dealing with and tweeting about, you know, for years. And I think like it's in a weird way, it's like allowed the world to kind of stop and see sort of the life that we live, or the trauma that we live. It's allowed us to have conversations with our children. I mean, I'm sure, Ra, like, you know, even just you and Junior, how y'all talking, even grown men, like y'all, how y'all talk about this now. It's like, you know, even a different kind of layer to the conversation you guys have already probably had. Even my kids are just like, I'm just in the house yelling at the TV, and they're seeing things on TikTok, like, you know, for certain friends that say, oh, certain things. And I'm like, see, not everybody is what you think they are. Now we have these kind of conversations, unwrapping all of this, like, you know, and then obviously just like artistically as being Black Violin, you know, I'm writing this essay right now. One of the things I'm talking about, like, is op-ed, and it's like talking about the idea of like, you know, the comment that always drops in is just like, well, what if we were white? What if I call myself White Violin? And then and we just reply, well, what if you did? I don't know.
Wow.
Like, what does that even mean? Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's been like the response to everything for our careers. Just like, well, what if we call ourselves White Violin? Well, I'll then call you. I guess that's your prerogative, but for us, we call ourselves this because we use this to empower ourselves. We've been very vocal about who we are, where we come from, and what you're supposed to expect when you come to see us. And in a weird way, I'm glad that the universe is catching up to the way we've been trying to do it, but I think it's a good time, like Ross said, it's just sort of the fact that we have this spotlight, we have this megaphone too, like, even artistically, people are like, oh, well, what are Black owned businesses that I want to see? Or our foundation, blackviolinfoundation.org, has been getting a lot of donations lately because I think people want to support Black art, Black foundations, Black businesses, Black everything. And I think that's long overdue, and we should be championing that. So there's a lot of good things that I think are coming from a bad time, particularly on the social injustice part. I wish we could do more. I wish we could be out and like really using our art to champion social justice reforms and policy and everything, just being out, just changing people's perception of what a Black guy could do, has been, we've lost that opportunity. So, but I think that as a globe, we're kind of finally sort of peeling the layers back, and more people are starting to understand than ever before, and for that I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me add something really quick.
Sure.
You guys know I'm a Latino. So
Venezuelan at that, though.
Venezuelan, yes, Venezuelan.
Hey.
And I will never forget a time we were on a tour, Black Violin, and we got pulled over many times, of course. But I remember one specific time we got pulled over. I was driving, and I think it was Kevin. Yeah, I think it was Kevin who said, yeah, and we were like in Minnesota or
I think it was Mississippi. Was it?
Maybe.
Might have been Mississippi.
And then I do remember Kevin say, what this police officer is gonna think when he opens the car and he see 4 Black dudes and a Venezuelan driving, So I even though I'm not affected in the same way for the situation that our country is going through, one of the things I always like to say is that even though my skin is white, but as soon as I open my mouth, my white privilege is gone, So there's a lot of things that I cannot relate, that you guys have been through, but I can really feel that is the right time, at the same time that these things are happening, there are Mexican kids in the border being kept in cages, So at the end of the day, it's a whole message about diversity and acceptance, no? So and I agree with you guys when you say that is a perfect time. Now you see the protest, and you see people of all colors and sizes now in the protest. I want to agree with Ras saying that hopefully it's not a trend. Because a lot of these people are, this is great for an Instagram picture. Let me do a story and say I'm in a protest.
Yeah.
And then they go back to I have nothing better to do. It's COVID time, so let me just go out there, get some fresh air, and take a nice picture for my Instagram.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, a lot of people forget about it. It's just another trend. So, but it seems heavy now. It seems dense and packed. And the media and corporations and companies are kind of like starting to take an approach. I'm afraid that, and I would love to pick your brain on these guys, that it feels like some companies are like overdoing it or doing things that you feel they don't really mean. Like they're just doing it to put a patch on the wall, put patches on the ceiling, But then you look back and you're like, okay, tell me how many black VPs you have in your company. Tell me how many Latino VPs are in this company. So what do you guys think of that? I wanted to pick your brain on that. Yeah, go Willie.
Well, I mean, listen, I always say this, bro. I always say this to get, particularly as it relates to just like Black people getting, treated equally. I've always said, like, to do so, man, you got to hit them pockets. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening for the most part. I'm not saying every company is not genuine about what they're trying to do and the changes they're trying to do, but I think at the end of the day, people are afraid to lose money. So they're making these changes to make sure that their bottom line doesn't change. You know what I'm saying?
And they look good. Yeah, they look good.
They look good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I think the pressure, because even though they're doing that, and people are understand that they're doing that, and activists are putting more pressure on them to, like what you said, like to have more VPs and CEOs and these, you know, these companies, these major companies that are just like selling to Black and brown people, but just no representation at all. You know what I mean? So I think there is a lot of pressure, and ultimately it's they're looking after their bottom line. They're trying to make sure they're not losing any money. That's why they're you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them, is the funny thing is, a lot of companies are saying something or coming out after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't come out the gate and say, "Oh my God, this is crazy." Da da da. They waited a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then what's happening is the protest, is the pressure. And you know what I'm saying? That's making them feel like, okay, well, we can't be the last. We can't be the ones on the other side. We got to get on this side and make sure that we voice our opinions about how we feel about this and how wrong we feel this is. And, you know, again, not to say that every single company is doing that for that reason, but I do think their companies are genuine, or, you know, trying to make change because they really feel it. But ultimately, you know, they try not to lose money, man. And
but I mean, you know, like you said, the black dollar, you know what I mean? Like that's it's been making moves, you know, especially this month. You know, Will and I, we talk about all the time. Our wives used to go to this CrossFit gym, and then CrossFit kind of just got imploded because, you know, they weren't on the right side of it. The CEO was talking all this racist stuff or whatever, and now they all trying to disaffiliate. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they were like, CrossFit was just like, nah, you know, we're not gonna say Black Lives Matter. You know, we got all these cops here and these firefighters, and we're gonna lose the little Black people we have just to keep the cops and the firefighters. But now the public backlash is so bad that they pretty much done, you know, which I love to see, even though I was a CrossFitter, and I hate to see that go, but I love to see that the idea that now, like, the black dollar is empowered to that point, or at least not even the dollar, but in that situation, it was just sort of culturally and socially now we've just sort of like sullied your brand, and now Reebok is gone, everyone's gone because you want it to be racist. All right, well, now there's consequences for that, and I like that part of it. You know, even if it seems like some of these companies are doing sort of these like shallow, hollow sort of, you know, just these things. Oh, we're gonna
statements.
Statements. But hey, well, you know, better keep doing it, because if not, we're gonna cancel you. You know, we just need everyone to be, you know, treated equally here. You know what I mean? See, even some of these companies like the NFL, all we were saying to say Black Lives Matter, they wouldn't even say it. Like, not even matter. Like, it just matter.
I was going to ask you about the NFL, because I know my two dudes, Black Violin, they talk more about NFL on the road than they talk about music or it's all about that fantasy football. And every time I see the situation with Kaepernick, I think about our conversations, and I wanted to ask you guys, what do you feel about that?
Mad about
it. For me, I haven't watched football in like 3 years because of it, and it's just like, it's hard to watch football. It's hard to be engaged with something that you know for a fact, like, you know, they don't really care. And you talking about, you know, Roger Goodell is just literally the mouthpiece, and you got all these owners in the back. You don't even know who they are besides the Dallas, you know, owner that just wants to just be everywhere in people's faces and stuff. So, you know what I mean? So it's hard to see these guys, and it's majority black people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's insane how many black people that are in the league, but yet they're literally seen as just like high-paid slaves. I mean, that's just what it is. Yeah, at the end of the day, they're and it's just like, when you think about it in its core, and just the facts, right? It's just like protest, like you know what I'm saying? Protest, like the idea that the inception, what this country was really founded on, like, you know what I'm saying? No, we want to be able to do our own thing. We want to be able to be our own country. That's what made United States what it is today. You know what I mean? And it had nothing to do with the flag, but at the end of the day, we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And and for me, I just couldn't really, I love football. You know what I'm saying? Kev, like Juan said, we used to watch football all the time. Playing fantasy football, man.
Yeah.
After that joint, it's really, really hard when you know there's no they don't care, man. They just don't care. Go out and make me money. These billionaires are making so much money.
Yeah.
And you are and this person is bringing attention to something that is real, that is honest. You know what I'm saying? That he's doing, that he has the right to do.
Absolutely.
And you're telling him and you blackball him. You know what I'm saying? Like and what? You know what I'm saying? It is very clear. Clearly, you don't care about me. You know what I'm saying? And my son, you know what I'm saying? I'd be damned if my son gonna go out and play football. No, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like this institution need to change. Y'all need to, and that's what we need to do. We can't be afraid to do that kind of stuff, man. If we don't, man, it'll never change. Like, I'm not afraid, yo, bro. I'll cancel you. I'll stop you in a minute, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we can't be afraid to do that. And I'm not saying this is just what I choose to do. You know what I'm saying? If you want to watch football, that's on you. I'm not hating. You can do what you do, but football for me is just, it's so clear cut. Like you can't help to see it. It's just right there. It's just bam.
Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt. I got to make a hard stop. I have an IG live at 5 p.m.
Oh,
so I really appreciate this.
Thanks for joining us, Roz.
Juan, it was a pleasure to see you.
We'll do this again.
Fire emojis.
Good luck with that,
Martha,
man.
thank you so much, and I hope to work with you all and passing in some form or format in the near future.
Much success.
Out now, go get it.
Absolute stimulus
package.
And send us some,
exactly
right?
what we're talking about. I encourage everybody to go out and watch that video. It's on YouTube, and it's touching on everything we're talking about right now. So,
awesome.
Cool. Send me the link. I'll post it.
All right. All the best, everybody.
Yeah. Take care, Rob.
I'll talk to you soon.
So,
Thank you, man.
I wanted to ask you all, because just to reframe things, you know, and to look at it to see where the opportunity is to create something out of this, to rise from the ashes. What can we be doing, you know, as creators, as musicians, as public people? What can we do? What do you see yourselves doing?
Well, you know, I mean, we've been fighting this fight since the beginning of our career, since we decided to call ourselves Black Violin. Every time we step on stage, we're trying to change the perception of the way that people see us. You know, we're writing this thing right now talking about how, in a way, just the idea of playing the violin, looking the way we look, disarms people, you know, and they're armed for many reasons, you know, armed, you know, just stereotypically think that someone that's 6'2", 285, unshaven, you know what I mean, is going to be a threat, or at worst is going to be somebody you need to look at, you know what I mean, make sure just, you know what I mean, at best, like, I mean, just take a look at that guy, just make sure he's not whatever, you know. And, you know, just the idea of just us walking up to somebody and be like, hey, like when I just moved into this place, next my neighbor's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I was like, oh, okay, we talking business or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm a professional violinist. Really? I'm like, yep. And I disarmed you. Now I could use the violin as a weapon against you, and then, you know, make you buy a ticket to take some money from you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just a disarming, you know what I mean? And like, so like, we've been doing that for a long time. And what that does is has a residual in a way where it makes people, next time they see somebody that looks like us, be like, maybe, oh, well, he might be a violinist. Let me, you know, he might, you know what I mean? I might pay to go see that beatboxer, you know what I mean? Like I might, you know what I mean? Like it changes people's perceptions. So we feel like just that work, you know, being out is really important. So we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to use our art to speak truth to power, to, you know, we have a couple of videos that's really relevant. One of them is called One Step. And in the video, we tackle police brutality pretty vividly and graphically, honestly. And it tackles immigration as well, tackles a few things. So we like to use our art as a conduit to hopefully create social change, or at least, you know, further the dialogue of it. And you know, we do that in all across the country, in North Dakota, and, you know, very non-diverse spots, and we stay true to who we are no matter what. And that's what we hope to do when this COVID thing opens back up and the world is awake again and ready to go. So that's going to be probably how I think about it, how we're going to continue to use our art to, bring awareness to this. And it's better to do it in person. So hopefully soon,
Yeah. And Rahzel, you're muted, but I wanted to bring up that, our collaboration, the Beats Per Revolution a few years ago, and there was a whole other, that was 2017, 3 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And you did this amazing rap in the middle of it. That was just, when this whole thing started again, I'm like, when is history going to stop repeating itself?
Right.
You know, and so, and it was so powerful. And the message even, and I find as a teacher also, I'm changing up the syllabus in my class now, and I'm talking about music as response and music in protest. Music from like, the revolution will not be televised, and things that all the music that was strange fruit, a sign of those times, and then I have my students do research on what music is going on now, or even a few years ago, and like Kendrick Lamar that won the Pulitzer Prize a few years ago, right? So times are changing really slowly, but and there's some amazing art that's coming out of it that's pushing forward, and whether you call it activism or not, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I just think, like people, you have to share the resources, because it's available, just people aren't really sharing those resources. So to me, it becomes difficult as an artist, such as myself, trying to get, my point across, or, trying to bring people into my world. So actually, I always believe in pay it forward. So to me, that's how I've met everyone. You, the Black Violin, now meeting Juan, via Zoom. To me, it's like that pay it forward, bringing things into the fold, sharing your information, sharing your knowledge, sharing who you know. Like, to me, those things make it better. Like, even me and Martha performing at Pop Tech. To me. Okay, something's echoing back.
Yeah. It was a
I'm
little
good
feedback.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, even Martha and I performing at Pop Tech and doing doing the symphony space, all of those things is kind of like paying it forward. It's kind of like artists coming together, artists collaborating, something comes up. No matter what the situation is, it's like constantly plugging other artists into what you're doing, and vice versa. It's kind of like, you building a pyramid and you kind of like lifting the other person up so people can see, what they're doing, what you're doing, like kind of like what we're doing now. Like, people can see actually what's going on. People are exposed to Black Violin, Juan, Martha, and myself, Little Ra, so forth and so on. So this, for me, it has to be a continuous basis in order to combat what's going on, because your biggest strength is in numbers. So if everyone is together and everyone's promoting each other, then how you can definitely affect change and affect what's going on. I know there's vices that separate us. Whether it's media, whether it's money, whether it's position, whether it's power, these things separate people. Where someone feels like, since I have more than this person, I don't want to be involved, because I rather, chase the illusion of, my life is going to be better if I obtain this, not understanding like how energy and vibration connects all around. It connects globally. It's just not about yourself. It's just not about your family. Like, what you do can affect everyone. It's a ripple effect. So, just doing doing those things, those collaborations, and being aware of what's going on at the particular time is funny because when this happened, Martha hit me up right away, like, wow, this is like, how ironic this is that, we did something based on Gil Scott-Heron talking about the revolution will not be televised. And here we are in 2020, and everyone had this big vision of what 2020 was going to be. This was far from it. What we're going through now is far from the vision everyone had. So,
Yep.
We got to continue on the path that we've been on thus far, like staying connected, you know what I'm saying? Staying connected, staying promoting each other, staying connected, promoting the message, because people lose the message because, like I said, there's vices that allow you to fall into these traps where you kind of lose that steam of, spreading that energy. Honestly, we just have to keep pushing, it's going to be some devastation before it honestly gets better, unfortunately, but as far as artists, man, we just gotta continue to keep linking up with one another and kind of like getting the message out there, because once this is over, it shouldn't go back to business as usual. It shouldn't go back to, all right, everything's great, I'm going back to my thing, you go back to your thing, It should be a continuum of what's happening right now, because everybody's coming together. It should be continuous. And to me, that helps a lot, because people emulate. That's another energy. People emulate. So you see devastation, you're going to emulate devastation. You see people coming together, you're going to emulate that. So I think us using our platform, we have to emulate us coming together and putting that energy out.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's a big part of it. And I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful that, like, just even the time for us all to think about it and just sort of like live in this moment. I'm hopeful that after this, people won't, just like, Junior said, just sort of like go back to their old regular lives. I hope that it's embedded in everyone, and it feels that way a little bit. There's people talking about it that normally don't. People that are kind of making it cornerstones, and even for us, it makes it much easier for us to use our platform. We was already really saying what we want to say, but now it's like, it's in the American psyche so much more that, we Black Violin, it feels like, we're more empowered than ever to speak that truth, and I think hopefully everyone feels the same.
Yeah, that's a powerful weapon. So, but in a positive way. So, I know, Rahzel, you've got to be on a call in a few minutes. So maybe this is a good point to pause this conversation and to be continued. And all I can say is I hope that we all get to collaborate together at some point. I've worked with Rahzel, I've worked with you guys, and we've jammed and stuff in the studio. But let's all do it out and unified.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Good stuff out there.
Let's do it.
Great talking with all of y'all, man.
All right, thank you so much, everybody.
Absolutely.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
And thank you, Martha, for putting this together.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks, Martha.
Thank you, guys.
Shout out to Eventide.
All right, yes. Here's for Eventide.
Now, do we have a tour after this? Like, what's going on?
We're going to, absolutely.
Let's stop.
World
Come
tour.
on.
My schedule is wide open, so you let Man, I love y'all, man. Let's do
All right.
this.
Take care. Be
All
good.
right, man.
Hug your kids.
Bye.
Take care.